OK, let's get to our agenda, and it is dominated by what's happening at the Tribunal tonight. The AFL tipped its hand asking for an 8-week penalty for Jimmy Webster, who entirely owned his actions for a hit that really has created shockwaves ahead of the season proper.
Every player in the AFL would know crystal clear that that's not allowed and not to be done. So it's a brain fade, not the smartest thing to do.
You know, that vulnerable state where you've just got rid of the ball, you think the game's going to protect you, and then you get that hit like, just see here, just too high, leaves the ground.
Oh, no. As commentators, former players, fans of the game, we don't want to see that. So he'll get dealt with.
Community expectations and the understanding as we go in from year to year, they are changing, and the AFL, we have to be at the forefront of that, and we have to evolve with the community standards changing.
He's really concerned for Jy. Very remorseful, but it was like a split-second action.
You know, as far as the players go, they're fully aware of their responsibilities, and you know, clearly there's got to be care taken when we choose to take that action.
Look, it'll be a significant penalty, and we understand where we're at as a game at the moment with the concussion protocols and the concussion, history going through the game at present. So it'll be a rather lofty suspension, I would say.
Players are repeatedly told not to leave the ground. So
It's just stupid, isn't it?
It's just stupid.
Yep.
And the snap back of the head there, just, I know we're replaying it, but I feel sick watching this.
It's going to be a big whack. I mean, I can't see logically how it could be. I reckon 8's about the median that it would be.
And you just hope that Jy's all right.
Indefensible was how Ross Lyon described it, but there were always going to be elements of tonight's hearing that would be contested. David Zita, who's risen through the television ranks across the summer, largely through his tribunal work, it should be said, right here on AFL 360. David Zita, welcome back.
Hello again, Gerard. Hello again, Robbo.
Take us to the quibbling over penalty, which is the flashpoint of this hearing.
Yeah, so the AFL asked for 8 weeks at the outset of this hearing. That was represented by Andrew Woods, representing the AFL. St Kilda did plead guilty to all aspects of the charge, Jimmy Webster as well, that is. But Adrian Anderson, their legal representative, has said that 8 weeks is excessive and disproportionate in the circumstances. So the AFL, on their end, they said this is at the higher end of carelessness. A clear decision was made to leave the ground and tuck the arm in. It's very significantly careless given his speed and player Simpkin's momentum. Comparisons were made with Sam Powell-Pepper. The AFL said this was much worse because it was just Webster involved here as opposed to any other player, and that Webster did the wrong thing by not changing his trajectory. The AFL referenced evolving community standards. We know that's part of the new tribunal guidelines. It effectively gives the tribunal a blank cheque to hand out any penalty it wishes. It says the fact the tribunal this year doesn't need to be bound by decisions in previous years is key. Adrian Anderson, as you said, Gerard, he has 8 reasons that he has gone through painstakingly, but effectively he says this should take something absolutely extraordinary to give this 8 matches rather than something like the base sanction of 3+, 4, even 5. He said this was similar to the Sam Powell-Pepper incident, and when asked what band they were aiming for, he said it should be somewhere around that mark. So effectively the Saints and Adrian Anderson, their legal rep, arguing this would be something unforeseen and extraordinary in the circumstances, given how big a ban that would be compared to previous bans and Powell-Pepper's the week before.
David, what's Jimmy Webster's part in the hearing been?
Well, he was obviously very contrite, as he flagged in a statement yesterday. He came out at the start and pleaded guilty to all aspects of the charge. He addressed the tribunal. Rather than giving evidence, he said that he wanted to make a statement and said he hadn't seen the replay of the incident when they were playing it back. He said it made him physically sick to watch it back. He said, I'm really sorry about what happened on Sunday. It's not something I'm proud of. I've let a lot of people down. My main concern is for Jy to get back to playing footy. I really hope he's okay. I understand how bad concussions are and how much we want to see them stamped out of the game. He says his wife and his 16-month-old child have been subjected to abuse via social media, which he says they can come for me, but coming for my family is something else entirely, and that's certainly shaken him. But in terms of his contrition, his remorse, that was on display throughout. Really, St Kilda's legal representative here, Adrian Anderson, is the one pursuing a ban that's fewer than 8 matches, as opposed to Jimmy Webster, who has been completely consistent throughout and very remorseful.
How long have deliberations been underway?
Just about 20 minutes now, so we know tribunals often take anywhere between 40 and a fair bit longer, but hopefully nothing too long. He has pleaded guilty. It really is just a matter of sanction now, so that deliberation underway as of about 20 minutes ago.
All right. Thanks, David. We'll be back with you shortly, as North Melbourne's part was to rule out Jy Simpkin for round one already, so the minimum 12-day standards could have had him present to play, but an abundance of caution, particularly with the recent concussions on his part.
Yeah, you're right. I just got to take issue with Adrian Anderson. That is illogical to argue that it's in the vicinity of the Sampel Pepper. That is illogical. I mean, I know he's got to defend, and I really like Adrian, but I know he's got to defend St Kilda and put up a case. But to suggest that it's the same or equivalent in the ballpark of Sampel Pepper, that's wrong. That's wrong. I just can't believe that. And there's things, Gerard, about carelessness. That's not careless. That is deliberate. So but the argument is that he deliberately trying to hit him in the head.
So this is a really interesting line that we continue to straddle by not grading these as intentional. And it plays a role in tonight's hearing, is can you get 8 weeks for carelessness? We're about to find out.
The person who argued that it was at the high end of careless, absolutely. I don't think there's any area above high level of... That's got to change, because that was deliberate. He hit him. Oh, he didn't mean to hit him in the head, but you chose to make that decision to hit him. So you're going to accept the consequences, I know, but that was deliberate.
So we're about to get a verdict. Everyone's on tenterhooks.
What's the time?
So I just think that the course of this across the night has been so interesting, as the AFL set its tent at 8 and we were all watching. In a way, that bit matters more than what comes from the tribunal, as the AFL now wants to elevate this, and Adrian Anderson, who's such an interesting figure, says that that is out of whack with the evolution over time. It's too big a leap in one go.
It may be. He argues rightly, but it's not in Sampel Peppers.
Let's see how it's landed.
Mate.
Let's see how it's landed. David Zita, what's the number?
The number has come in as of about 4 seconds ago. It is a 7-match ban for Jimmy Webster. Jeff Gleeson, the tribunal chair, said this was considerably worse than Sam Powell-Pepper's action that got a 4-week ban, and this was a classic case of avoidable head-high contact. It is a 7-match ban for Jimmy Webster.
Robbo, not only nearest the pin, you nailed it in one. 7,
and you owe me a bottle of Penfolds. So that's 3. 3 bottles, please.
I'll wait till it's a case.
7, we're joking there. 7, will that satisfy the people, the football industry? I think so. People say it's excessive and people wanted more, but I always thought 6 or 7 was going to be the figure.
It's a huge deterrent. I mean, so this is the new age, but just to liken it to some from the past. So Dean Solomon got 8 when he ironed out Cameron. That was a sickening moment. Andrew Gaff was the most recent to get 8.
What did he get?
He got the flush punch. He got 8 weeks. Barry Hall was a terribly compromised system that ended up at 7, but started at something like 11, and then he did get all sorts of discounts. Jeremy Cameron, when he got Harris Andrews 5, and Tom Jonas with that nasty shot got 6. So
that was a big hit.
This is an escalation that marries up with all that we know around the way the AFL wants to combat head knocks, and also marries up with not only a community acceptance, I think, but a community desire that these be big numbers. That's a huge deterrent.
The greatest cliche in footy is, everyone's on notice. I think Greg Baum wrote it. If you're not noticing it now, Gerard, you're stupid.
Yeah, so that's 4 weeks for Sam Powell-Pepper and 7 for Jimmy Webster, and those are probably our parameters for the season on these sorts of incidents.